So.
Would you I prefer writing in using O5 but I've always wondered if like O5 or O7, since that's the most easiest I can get a hold of, would be more appropriate to start sketching.
If that's what you're comfortable with, go for it. I mean, I sketch with, I didn't bring it, I sketch with gel pens, I sketch with pencils, I sketch with brush pens, like whatever you're used to working with, go for it, because that's, like we were talking about having a higher success rate, that's increasing your success rate is working with material you're already familiar with, instead of trying to learn a new material and learn a skill at the same time.
One of the reasons that I like using brush so much, or I'm good at it, is because I use brush pens to sketch with a lot. So it just constantly is giving me the feel of using that particular medium.
How you
hold it, how much pressure it takes to get a line, how it works on paper, stuff like that.
Would you recommend for someone that's wanting to get into doing more sequential art to actually attend a school like the sequential school art design?
The school is definitely a very good school. I mean,
and it's also put in front of us opportunities that we wouldn't have been able to have as individual artists. We've attended cons that we wouldn't have attended. We've met other artists. They organize things and bring editors to us so we can show them our work. With that said, it's a huge investment. All of my friends are like up to their necks in debt, and comics does not pay a crap. Like you're gonna have a day job. That's just the sad reality of it. So I mean, and with a master's, I'm gonna teach. I'm probably gonna teach kids. Like I know this. That's just gonna be my life. And so you have to weigh whether or not it's worth getting into debt over, because while it increases your chances, they don't guarantee jobs. They're not going to give it to you. You have to fight for it, and you're fighting. It's a very competitive environment, and not everybody plays nice. They're not going to sabotage your work, but they'll sabotage your career. Some of the other students, because their parents didn't teach them how to play with other kids properly or whatever. But you really have to weigh that, and a big part of being successful as a comic artist in the US is honestly exposure and word of mouth. So if you are well known doing something else like a podcast or AMVs, you can kind of parlay that into your career and be like, hey guys, I also did this, and you'll get some views there. And that's something that art school can't give you. They can't give you that exposure.
At the same time, there's a lot of artists who didn't go to art school. I mean, like in art school, they teach you a lot of good things. But a lot of those things are also things you can get from, I don't want to say get from books and get from online resources. Some of it is are things you only get from experience and from having other people who've worked in the field talk to you. But there are other people who've worked in the field online that sometimes are willing to share a lot of this stuff.
And part of what art school has taught us is how to talk to other artists, which it's huge. Like you don't have to it was more of an overcoming my fear of them, because they are people and a lot of them are very nice people. So something that I learned from art school that I wouldn't have had before is just like go up and talk to people and show them your stuff and ask their opinion and learn how to take a critique. Like they're going to tell you things that hurt, and it's not personal and it's not about you, and they're not saying you're never going to improve. They're just saying that this isn't working for you, you should do it. And that was like one of the bigger things that I learned from art school, was how to get over that. And then I actually grew to relish those kind of critiques, because I saw it as the more critical they were, I understood that they respected me more, they knew I could take it, and they thought my work was worth that time. And that's something that I think a lot of self-taught artists don't understand, they don't have a grasp on, and a lot of online-only artists don't, they're like, no critique, I don't want any critique, or they only want critique from their friends. And they're seeing it as a very personal attack on themselves, when in art school we're constantly like, come on, rip me apart, tell me where I'm going wrong. So it's a very different attitude. And if you're dealing with, I don't know about so much the American manga group, because we run in a slightly different circle, but with mainstream and indie, it's very much, please critique me, please tell me what you think, I want to be better, I want to get published.
That's a long way of saying we don't recommend for or against. It's what works best for you, and it's going to be different for every person. If you can afford the time and financially to go to it, it's a great thing. But see, I'm going to be shouldered with quite a lot of student debt. I mean, and probably working a day job for quite some time.
I was one of those artists who'd been drawing for years and years and years, and I was never improving at all because I had friends who wouldn't tell me I was bad, and they wouldn't tell me how I could improve. They'd pat me on the head and would watch me fail. So my growth within the art school community has been exponential. I'm leagues better than I was when I came in. So if you're the kind of artist who's kind of stagnated for a really long period of time, even though you're studying at home, even though you're trying new things, it might be good to have a change of environment. Even if it is art, like community college art classes, at least you're in that environment.
Did that answer that?
Yes.
Okay, in the longest way possible. Sorry. We take it very seriously because it's very, very expensive, and we don't want to influence someone to go to the school and then it not work for them, and they have like a mess in their life because of our bad advice.
Board-wise, what would you all recommend? 'Cause
Like a working board?
yeah.
This is just some cheap Michaels Masonite art board I got in high school maybe. I don't know, it's years old. You can't get it wet because it's made of like wood pulp and wood glue. It's only slightly bigger than my papers, which I really like. It makes it very portable. It's very lightweight. I don't even think it has like a name brand. Some of them have rubber bands. It's really great for carrying your work around because it'll keep it steady. This one used to, and then I removed it because it's so small that it created this groove that got in the way of my working surface. I really like having an art board. I bring it everywhere.
And see, I don't have one. I like to work, at home on the table instead.
Oh, I work on the floor, sitting Indian style. I have an art desk that I don't use.
So it's
Do you know if the boards, if all of them have like the two clips like on the side
Some
of
of
that?
them have
or-
one.
Oh,
But I think all of them have at least one clip. And the ones that have one are usually like, they're these like clipboard size ones, but they aren't actually clipboards. And I never really been a fan of that. And the clips don't actually open that wide, so it's not like, I guess they do. But I tried putting my sketchbook in it and it doesn't work very well. So I wouldn't recommend the smaller boards thinking, hey, I can put my sketchbook on here. Some people work on copier paper because it's really cheap and that might work. That might be a good solution.
so the clip is mostly just used to, you're not moving until I move.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, yeah, I use it when I carry my work to class. I bring this to class because we have tables like this, and anyone who gets up or like they're racing really hard, and you're working on something delicate, and suddenly the table moves and your hand goes and it ruins the face. With the art board, I can kind of prop it, and so when they're doing their stuff, I just leave it like that.
she's talking about me. I'm lucky
I love you, but you're like, I'm like the fierce regular person. Go away.
I hate lines.
Never again.
So I take out all my inner frustration.
So you're a Bob Ross.
Oh, happy little trees.
And beat the devil out.
Watching you work, yeah, you were definitely the either you love it and it's everything happy sunshine, or it's oh my god, make it go away, I'm starting all over again. Whereas I'm the fastidious one. I'm slow. She's fast. She can ink a page. Seriously, I've seen her do it in 2.5 hours, which is phenomenal. Me, a page a day, and a day is usually 8+ hours. Because I'm slow. I'm the one who's like tiny little lines. She's shonen. I'm shoujo. That's how it
That's the way it works.
breaks down. I'm adorable tiny girls. She's boys kicking other people's butts.
Arguably, the color work that I do takes a little longer.
You're still really fast.
Do you guys have any of your work with you?
She does. My work's actually at my table. I have one finished ink
Yeah.
because I
This is actually the
Wasn't
originals
sure.
of all the different works. So I mean, you guys can get out and come look if you want. This is what they look like
at size.
at size with mistakes and bad
And do you
handwriting.
scan all these and on top of them?
Yeah. I also have them as new comics. Where all of them, both of us organized out.
And you can read our stuff for free.
Yeah.
Like we encourage that. Please come and look at our stuff and see how it reduces because like with her stuff reduces really, really well. And my stuff, it's 50-50. Sometimes it'll reduce really nicely. And then like my Copic stuff,
yeah, like that, where you're like,
that's not going to
it's
reduce.
never gonna reduce.
But this wasn't designed for reduction either. It's going to be a matte size print.
Do you have any recommendations for using like color Copics?
Oh God. She used to be the Copic person and I stole it away from her. I love Copics. But I actually used to use Prismacolors. So like, you know, like I have experience with both. What kind are you looking at? There's the square ones, which are like the Copic originals. They're, what, you're shaking your head? No, I wasn't recommending them, I'm just going through them. There's the oblong ones, which are Copic Sketch, which I use, which are phenomenal. You can refill them, you can change the nibs. They have this amazing brush tip, which can mimic watercolor really, really well. And then there's the Copic Chow, which are cheap. They're not cheap in a bad way, they're just less expensive. They feel a little less, like the Copic Sketch feels like an art tool. The Copic Chow has a little bit of a toy feeling, you know what I mean? With like the cheaper plastic and it's not as heavy. They're refillable, they don't hold as much ink, so they don't last as long between the refills. And they also have the super brush nib, which is replaceable, which is really nice too. If you're looking for help working with them, there's like a million amazing videos on just watching other people work is great. If you're just